My name is Edna. Standing at the altar on my wedding day, I looked out at the guests and saw my biological parents, Mr. and Mrs. Carter, standing awkwardly at the back. Their presence was unexpected, but I was ready. 5 years ago, I was in a completely different place. I was living in a small apartment in Seattle, working as a freelance web designer. I'd always been the odd one out in my family. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Carter, were strict and traditional. They had high expectations for my older sister, Ava, and me, but they always seemed to favor Ava. Thanksgiving was approaching, and I was excited to go home. I'd bought my non-refundable plane ticket and was in my apartment, surrounded by the smell of a cinnamon candle I'd lit to get in the holiday mood. The phone rang, and it was my mom. "Edna," she said in a cold voice. "I've been thinking. Don't come home this year. Ava doesn't want any drama. She's just started a new business, and she can't handle the stress." I laughed, thinking she was joking. "What do you mean, Mom? I haven't even talked to Ava in weeks." Mom's voice hardened. "Exactly. And let's keep it that way. You always seem to stir things up. Remember when you questioned why Ava got that big promotion at work? That was so unnecessary." I felt my heart sink. "Mom, I was just asking. That's not drama. That's a normal question." She cut me off. "Well, it made Ava uncomfortable. Now get a refund on your ticket. You understand." And then she hung up. As I sat on my bed, looking at my useless plane ticket, memories of all the times I'd been overlooked came flooding back. On my 18th birthday, I'd planned a small party with my friends. But Ava had a breakdown because she didn't get into her first choice college, and my party was canceled. "Don't be selfish, Edna. Your sister needs us more right now," my mom had said. I called my dad, hoping he'd stand up for me. "Dad, did Mom tell you?" I asked. There was a long pause. "She mentioned it. You know how your mother is, Edna. She's just trying to keep the peace." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So, you're okay with this? I'm not allowed to be with my family on Thanksgiving?" Another long pause. "It's better if you listen to your mother this year," he finally said. I felt a sense of emptiness. I realized that I'd always been the one to make sacrifices in my family, and it was never going to change. Thanksgiving Day was cold and gray. I woke up to the sound of my neighbors' happy voices and the smell of a delicious meal wafting through the vents. I opened Instagram and saw a post from Ava. The whole family was gathered around the table, smiling. There was no empty seat for me. It was like I didn't exist. I couldn't just sit in my apartment and wallow. I decided to go out and find a restaurant. I found a place called the Harbor Bistro. It was an old-fashioned place with warm lighting and the smell of roasted turkey. When I walked in, the hostess gave me a pitying look. "Just one?" she asked. She led me to a small table in the corner, next to a large family. The family at the next table was having a great time. An older couple, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, were at the head of the table. Their son, Ryan, his wife, Lily, and their 2 kids, Jake and Mia, were also there. And there was a younger man, Ethan, who was making everyone laugh. I watched them, feeling a pang in my chest. This was what a real family was supposed to be like. My turkey arrived, but I couldn't taste it. I sat there, pushing the food around on my plate, trying not to cry. Suddenly, Mrs. Thompson looked at me. "Honey, are you okay?" she asked in a warm voice. I automatically said, "I'm fine. Just allergies." She raised an eyebrow. "Allergies don't usually make people cry on Thanksgiving. Why don't you come join us? No one should eat alone on this day." I was hesitant. "Oh no. I couldn't. I don't want to intrude." She smiled. "You're not intruding. I'm inviting. There's a difference. My husband tells the worst jokes, and Ethan here loves to start political debates. You might as well come and have some fun with us." Mr. Thompson waved at me. She won't take no for an answer. Trust me, 40 years of marriage and I've never won an argument. Ethan grinned. He's not wrong. I looked at my cold turkey and then at the warm, inviting faces of the Thompsons. "Okay," I said. They made room for me like I'd always been part of the family. I was introduced to everyone and we started talking and laughing. Ryan asked me what I did for a living, and when I told him I was a web designer, he was impressed. That's amazing. I've always wanted to learn about web design, he said. After dinner, Mrs. Thompson sat next to me. Edna, I can tell you're having a hard time. Do you want to talk about it? I hesitated, but then I decided to be honest. My mom called me and told me not to come home for Thanksgiving. She said my sister didn't want any drama. Mrs. Thompson nodded slowly. I see. You know, in my years as a family counselor, I've learned that the people who accuse others of causing drama are often the ones creating it. They just need someone to blame. Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. You're not the problem, Edna. You never were, she said, putting her hand on mine. As the evening wound down, Mr. Thompson insisted on paying for my meal. It's our Thanksgiving tradition to buy dinner for new friends, he said. Before I left, Mrs. Thompson gave me her business card. If you ever need to talk, call me. And we have Sunday dinners at our place every week. You're always welcome. I was hesitant at first, but over the next few months, I started going to their Sunday dinners. I became close to the Thompsons. Mr. Thompson taught me how to play chess, and Mrs. Thompson shared her secret apple pie recipe with me. Jake and Mia started calling me Aunt Edna, and Ethan and I became good friends. 2 years later, Ethan and I realized that our friendship had turned into something more. He took me back to the Harbor Bistro and proposed. I said yes, of course. As we started planning our wedding, I faced a difficult decision. The wedding invitations needed a line for the parents of the bride. I couldn't put my biological parents' names on the invitation. They hadn't been a part of my life for years. Mrs. Thompson could see that I was troubled. Edna, remember when I told you about legal recognition for chosen family? Adult adoption is a real thing. I've helped many people through the process. I was shocked. Is that really possible? She smiled. Yes, it is. Richard and I have considered you our daughter since that first Thanksgiving. We were just waiting for you to be ready. The adoption process took a few months, but with Mrs. Thompson's help, it went smoothly. When the judge signed the final order, I officially became Edna Thompson. 3 months before the wedding, I got a text from Ava. Did you know Edna is getting married? I blocked her number. Then my mom called several times, and I let the calls go to voicemail. Finally, she sent a text saying, "Why didn't you tell us? We're your family. Call me back immediately." I deleted the text. I was tired of their games. Ethan was supportive. "Whatever you decide, I'm with you," he said. On the wedding day, as I stood in the bridal suite, Mrs. Thompson helped me adjust my veil. "You look beautiful, Edna. Absolutely beautiful." I looked at myself in the mirror and saw a different person. I was stronger, more confident. I knew that I had a family who loved me and chose me. When the security guard told me that my biological parents were at the entrance, I was ready. I decided to let them in, but I asked them to be seated at the back. The MC stepped up to the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the parents of the bride, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson." The room erupted in applause. My biological mom's face went white. She grabbed my dad's arm. "What did he just say?" I walked over to them. "Mom, Dad, I don't hate you. I've made peace with who you are. You're just people who couldn't love me the way I needed to be loved. But I've also made peace with who I am. I deserve to be chosen, and the Thompsons have chosen me." My dad started to cry. "Edna, I'm so sorry. I should have done better." I knew his apology was too little, too late. "I know you're sorry, Dad, but sorry doesn't undo the years of neglect." Mrs. Thompson stood by my side. "You gave her away, and we picked her up. We showed her what a real family is like." My biological mom tried to argue, but Mr. Thompson stepped in. "It's time for you to leave. This is our daughter's special day, and we won't let you ruin it." As they were escorted out, the wedding guests applauded. The rest of the wedding was perfect. We danced, we laughed, and we celebrated our love. A year later, I'm pregnant. Mrs. Thompson cries with joy when we tell her. Mr. Thompson tries to hold back his tears but fails. Jake and Mia are already arguing about who will be the baby's favorite cousin. Sitting at the Thanksgiving table with the Thompsons, I look around at the people who have become my family. I raise my glass. To family, the one we build, the one we choose, and the one that chooses us back. I know that I've finally found my place, and I'll never let anyone make me feel like I don't belong again.